Now, there's big relief for persecuted minorities, especially in the countries of Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Pakistan. The central government has taken a very important decision and they are being thanked from people within the cabinet, including Mr. Sukanta Mazumdar, who's a central minister as well. And this is a tweet that he's put out thanking the Ministry of Home Affairs for extending the cutoff date for entry into India for being eligible to apply for citizenship status under the Citizenship Amendment Act. Now that deadline has been extended, according to Mr. Mazumdar, till the 31st of December 2024. Remember that the earlier cutoff date was the 31st of December 2014, and if that's now been extended by a further 10 years for people to qualify within 2024, it essentially means that persecuted minorities in these three countries who've been victims of recent persecutions in these three states will now be eligible to apply for Indian citizenship. Let me in fact go across to my colleague Pragya for more clarity on this. Pragya, this is a big decision. We all remember, of course, that the Citizenship Amendment Act was passed in 2019. So it's been 6 years. The cutoff date for eligibility back then to apply for citizenship in India was the 31st of December 2019 for persecuted minorities belonging to 6 different religions from 3 countries, namely Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan. Mr. Mazumdar has now put out a tweet thanking the Home Ministry. He's also put out a copy of the notification saying that the cutoff date has now been extended by a further 10 years to December 2024. Take us through the details.
Siddharth, this is part of the Immigration and Foreign Exemption Order 2025, the bill that was passed in the Parliament, and in fact this is also part of regulating who will enter and how people will enter Indian border. So also putting a leash on illegal immigrants, and those who are already inside, they need to go out. But having said that, there are exemptions also in place, especially for those who are minority and also victim of religious persecution in countries like Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan. They are now valid if they have come into the India, irrespective whether they have the travel documents or not. They will be given citizenship, and they can stay in the India. If the deadline for that has been renewed to December 31st, 2024, a very big step, because India and the Indian government believes that irrespective of which religion you are, if you are a minority in neighboring countries like Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Pakistan, be you Sikh, Jain, Tibetan, in fact Tibetans are also included in this particular category. So if you are one of them and you are part of the persecuted minority, you will be given stay in India and also the citizenship. This is a very big step by the Indian government, and this is a very welcome step, and this is exactly the reason why Sukanta Mazumdar has taken to social media to greet and also to welcome this step and congratulate the ministry on this particular issue, because they also believe there are Hindus in these countries who are facing persecution because they are the minority, and who else can give them the shelter if not India. So be it Sikh, Parsi, Jain, and Buddhist, all have been welcomed by the government if they have entered the India and sought the status of citizenship by 31st of December 2024. A big leap as far as CAA is concerned, and it also shows the intention of the government. Government is also of the view that no illegal immigrant should stay in India. For that, the act has been modified and the rules have been changed. But as far as these minorities are concerned in neighboring countries, they have been given relaxation and exemptions.
Okay, Pragya, stay with us. I'll also come to Sagarika in just a moment, who will take us through that notification. But first, let's get a reaction from the Trinamool Congress. Mr. Riju Datta now joins us. Mr. Datta, what's your view on this extension that's been granted to persecuted minorities who will now essentially qualify, in the sense that earlier only those who entered India before 2014 could possibly apply for citizenship under the CAA. That appears to now have been relaxed, with those who have entered India before 31st December 2024 also presumably eligible. What's your view on this entire notification, sir?
This entire forget the notification. This entire CAA NRC nonsense is nothing but a farce. It is a lollipop given to the people or to create a perception in the country for political mileage by the BJP. Bihar elections are just around the corner, barely a few days away. So they have done this to show that our heart bleeds for the persecuted minorities in other countries. They cannot, the BJP or the union government does not care about the persecuted minorities in neighboring countries. This is a lollipop that is used by BJP election after election in non-BJP ruling states. So they have just extended this and they have just put out a notification to give a lollipop to the majority voters.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Sukanta Mazumdar, who is a union minister himself, disagrees. Mr. Datta, we have Mr. Mazumdar speaking to us right now. Mr. Mazumdar, good afternoon to you. You've, of course, congratulated and thanked the Union Home Minister and also the Prime Minister for this particular notification. The TMC has described it as a lollipop. First and foremost, Mr. Mazumdar, just for reasons of clarity, does this mean that any persecuted minority belonging to 6 different religions from these 3 countries, Afghanistan, Pakistan and Bangladesh, would now be eligible to apply for citizenship under the CAA if they have entered before 31st December 2024? That's one question for reasons of clarity that I've asked you. If you could clarify that, and of course after that I'll ask you the political question based on what the TMC has said. Mr. Mazumdar, over to you.
See, first of all, I am not the right person to clarify the things.
Okay.
But at least I can assure you, the people from the neighboring countries, especially for me, the people those entered from Bangladesh, they will get a huge relief because Mamata Banerjee's police several times disturbed the people those have entered. Actually, they have been compelled to enter inside India. Even my ancestor during the 1947, they came from East Pakistan at that time. It was East Pakistan, the present-day Bangladesh, to India. And most of the chief ministers also. This is the fallacy. From beginning from Jyoti Basu to Buddhadev Bhattacharya, all people, most of the people, those became the chief minister of this state, are actually from Bangladesh or East Pakistan. So now it will be a great relief, and later on some clarification will come. Obviously, we are also trying to analyze the order memo, and we are also talking to the lawyers to understand the things. I think within few days the whole thing will be cleared in front of us.
Okay, Mr. Mazumdar, thank you for your response. We'll await an official clarity as well on the specifics of the provisions in this particular order. But let's in fact go across to my colleague Sagarika, who has the notification with her as we speak. Now, Sagarika, this is very important for reasons of clarity. First and foremost, the CAA had already fast-tracked citizenship for persecuted minorities from these 3 countries from the earlier 11 years to 6 years of having stayed in India. Now, of course, this was only eligible to those who had come to India before the 31st of December 2014. What does this specific notification now say about the extension of entry that's been granted? If you could just take us through the specific provisions.
Yes, and this is a relief given by the centre which has renewed the debate around CAA, and this specifically, Siddharth, is about exemptions. Why are we calling this a relief? Because now those who have entered India, especially persecuted minorities from Bangladesh, from Pakistan and from Afghanistan, those who entered India after 2014 will not face any penal action. And for that, the cutoff date of the exemption has been extended. And that is why the devil is in the fine print. First, like you spoke to Dr. Sukanta Mazumdar, he says the Ministry of Home Affairs has extended the cutoff date for entry into India and applying under CA till 31st December 2024. Grateful to the Honorable Prime Minister and Home Minister and the central government for this historic decision. Now, here is the notification. Let's go to point number C in the notification. What does it go on to say? It says, and I'm going to read out from it, Siddharth, it says a person. Okay, going across to you, Siddharth, we have a Union Minister joining us on the phone line on this development. Let's speak to him.
Well, we have Mr. Nishit Pramanik joining us right now. Mr. Pramanik, good afternoon to you. Now, how do you respond to this particular notification that's been issued by the centre? And can you just take us through the specific details of why this is significant? Does it mean that all the persecuted minorities belonging to 6 religions from these 3 countries can now apply for citizenship under the CAA if they have entered the country before December 31st, 2024? Your response, sir.
देखिए, पहली बात मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगा कि भारत सरकार को इतना बहुत ही अच्छा और गंभीर डिसीजन लेने के लिए। और दूसरा बात ये जो तीनों देश है वहां पर जो ये 6 माइनॉरिटीज है और सबसे ज्यादा बांग्लादेश और पाकिस्तान में जो हिंदूज है, उन लोगों के ऊपर लगातार जिस तरह से अत्याचार हो रहा है, जिस तरह से प्रताड़ित हो रहा है, तो वो लोगों के पास कोई रास्ता नहीं बचा। तो बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हैं जो शिक्षार्थी है, जो यहाँ पर सेटल हो गए और इंडिया में शादी के सिलसिले में इंडिया में आना पड़ा। तो बहुत सारा ऐसा रिक्वेस्ट और ऐसा जो है एप्लीकेशन भारत सरकार के पास आया और उसको सोचते हुए ही इतना जो है एक अच्छा डिसीजन सरकार ने लिया। और पूरा मैं कहूंगा कि पूरा ये 6 जो मतलब जाति है जो इन देशों में माइनॉरिटी है, भारत के अलावा जो बाकी देश में ये जो माइनॉरिटी है, इनके लिए भी बहुत ही अच्छा खबर है कि जो इतना दिन डर डर के जी रहे थे, बहुत सारे पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज इनको यूज कर रहे थे, बहुत सारे धमकियां आ रहा था। और जैसे पश्चिम बंगाल में बहुत सारा जो है गवर्नमेंट साइड से भी इन लोगों को डराया जा रहा था, विशेष रूप से मथुआ संप्रदाय जो यहाँ पर है, मथुआ समुदाय।
बिल्कुल।
तो अभी इन लोगों के लिए बहुत ही जो है एक खुशी की माहौल बन गया है और सब लोग आज सुबह से लेके आज सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं कि भारत सरकार ने इतना बड़ा जो स्टेप लिया। तो इसलिए सब लोग भारत सरकार को धन्यवाद दे रहा है।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया मिस्टर प्रमाणिक हमसे जुड़ने के लिए। सागरिका, कमिंग बैक टू यू नाउ, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज we need to give out the right information to our viewers. Now, the Union Minister, Mr. Sukanta Mazumdar, has of course spoken of the extension of the CAA cutoff date or the deadline. But if one goes to the fine print of the Citizenship Amendment Act itself, it's clearly written there that it's 2014 that's the deadline. So presumably there would have to be an amendment to the Act in Parliament to extend that deadline from 2014 to 2024.
Yes.
So for reasons of clarity, can you just tell our viewers about what this specific notification says about 31st December 2024? Why is that particular date significant in the context of this notification?
And that is why, when we put this news into context, this is about an exemption. Yes, it is a relief for persecuted minorities from Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan. But what does this mean? Point number C in the notification reads, and I quote, a person belonging to a minority community in Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan, namely that is Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis and Christians, who were compelled to seek shelter in India due to religious persecution or fear of religious persecution and entered India on or before the 31st of December 2024, this becomes important, Siddharth, without valid documents including passport or other travel documents, or with valid documents including passport or other travel documents, and the validity of such documents have expired. So what does this essentially mean? This means that those who came into India after the cutoff, that is the 2014 cutoff, and the date now is 2024, they will not face penal action. So once persecuted minorities who came into India after that particular date, and if their valid documents, like if they do not have valid documents like passport or other documents, or they have valid documents like passport or other documents, these people will not face any kind of penal action. This is a humanitarian shield. Okay, so this is the basic point. This is the exemption and the relief that has been provided to persecuted minorities in this particular case.
Very important clarification that you've given us there, Sagarika, because this does not have a direct bearing on citizenship. Because as far as CAA is concerned, it is a provision to provide a fast-track citizenship to these 6 persecuted minorities living in these 3 different countries who have entered India before 2014. Now, in the event that they've entered after 2014, according to this particular notification, there's a relief that's been extended to them if they've entered without requisite documents. So there won't be any penalty imposed or any kind of legal action initiated against them because they don't have the requisite documents to show that they belong to these 3 countries or that they've been persecuted there, or for that matter, they don't have the papers that they require to continue staying in India for that extended period of 10 years. So it is a big relief, but will it have a direct bearing on citizenship as far as the CAA is concerned? That's very unclear. because ultimately the CAA itself will have to be amended in Parliament to basically extend that cutoff date from 2014 to 2024. So that's the sum and substance of this particular notification that's been issued today, which has been welcomed from within the Bharatiya Janata Party. We have Mr. Rashid Alvi also joining us from the Congress Party. Mr. Alvi, now how do you view this? Because there are several people who belong to these three religions, or these six religions, who've been persecuted in Bangladesh, Afghanistan, as well as Pakistan, and that persecution has carried on to the present day, who would have entered India after 2014. They would be seeking refuge in India. They may not have the requisite papers with them. So now, no government can actually initiate any legal action against them. What's your view on this initiative that's been taken by the centre? Mr. Alvi. We'll try to get in touch with Mr. Rashid Alvi as well. We've already heard what the TMC, the Trinamool Congress, a key constituent of the India bloc, has had to say. It describes this as a lollipop initiative on the part of the central government and has basically belittled what the notification provides for. The central government and its representatives who we spoke to, including Mr. Sukanta Mazumdar, of course have taken an alternate view and have welcomed this decision. Let me in fact go across to my colleague Mohit Bhatt, who is currently with the national spokesperson of the BJP, Mr. Nalin Kohli, as we speak. Yes, Mohit, over to you.
Well, yes, Siddhant, it's a big breaking news that is coming in. The MHA has extended the cutoff date for the CAA from 2014 to 2024, which is seen as what is happening in our neighborhood, specifically in Bangladesh, where there has been demand coming in from various groups that cutoff date should be increased because Hindus specifically in Bangladesh were persecuted. We talked to us more on that. We have national spokesperson of the BJP, and he's also the senior advocate in Supreme Court. So he'll also speak about about the legalities of it. So the centre has extended the cutoff date for the CAA from 2014 to 2024. How do you see this? It comes in the background of the fact that how minorities, specifically Hindus, were targeted in Bangladesh.
Even Buddhists in Bangladesh. But I think one needs to go back for a moment. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government came out with the CAA, essentially recognizing the historical ills that happened to those people who could not come to India in 1947 when the partition took place. Sikh community, Hindu community, Buddhist community, Parsi, Jews, Christians, and those who became minorities in the newly created countries and then suffered great persecution also in some instances. Unnecessarily, some opposition parties tried to give this a Hindu-Muslim color when this was not at all related to that. And there was a misguided approach to even protest on it. But then finally the courts have also ruled that this was a correct decision. Now that it has been extended to 2024, it recognizes the realities of what is happening in the neighborhood, the daily concern that several people across the country, those who care for what is happening, how the persecution of Hindus is happening in Bangladesh. In that context, it is a decision that is in the right direction, and I see no scope for any politicization of that.
But politics is bound to happen, because earlier also we have seen politics over this issue. Earlier the questions were being raised that why Muslims are not being included in this. Now this could be linked to the West Bengal elections, sir.
Well, I don't see it from the West Bengal elections perspective. I see it from the point of view that this is the historical ills or a continuing legacy of what happened in the painful episode of partition. And if at all, if any opposition party is criticized, then they would have to start at the doorstep of those who were responsible for partition in India, and why this situation came that people had to suffer such persecution in the neighboring countries.
So that was Mr. Nalin Kohli, senior advocate and also spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, speaking to my colleague Mohit Bhatt. We'll take a short break right now. We'll come back with more on this and a lot else on the other side. Stay tuned.